The Atlanta Falcons, in their first year under head coach Arthur Smith, went 7-10. They weren't all that competitive against some of the best teams in the NFL. However, they were able to have a good amount of success against the lower end teams. And going into this season, they have a lot of questions on both sides of the football. You look at the offensive line, it doesn't look good outside of Jake Matthews and Chris Lindstrom. There's a bunch of questions there. Now, the wide receiver position is really interesting because it's a mixed bag. You have a lot of potential here because you do have wide receivers who are really big and really physical. You drafted Drake London in the first round of this past year's NFL draft out of USC. He, I think, is going to have a really good rookie season. He's been making a lot of plays for the Falcons so far throughout training camp. Bryan Edwards is really interesting. This is somebody who has a lot of potential, but the Raiders were willing to trade him simply for the fact that he is somebody who struggles to create separation, getting off the line. He's not really a great route runner. However, he is a really good deep ball threat due to the fact that he is really good at catching 50-50 balls. So he could potentially be a really good red zone target for Marcus Mariota in this offense. And if he can develop a little bit more as a route runner and improve his ability to create separation, he could be a really good receiver in Atlanta. You also have Alden Tate, who also is a big body wide receiver and pretty much has similar strengths and weaknesses to Bryan Edwards. Doesn't really create great separation, however, is really good catching 50-50 balls downfield. So for this wide receiver position, where's the speed? Because outside of Amelie Zaccheaus and Demary Bird, you don't really have any. So how are they going to be able to stretch the field without having that game-breaking speed? It's going to be really interesting. On top of that, you look at Kyle Pitts. He pretty much was the majority of the passing game for the Atlanta Falcons last year. He had the greatest rookie season that we have ever seen from a rookie tight end. So I'm expecting him to continue to have a phenomenal second year with Atlanta. And then you look at the running back position. You have Cordell Patterson, who pretty much was their do-it-all back. He was really good catching the football out of the backfield. And he was really good when it comes to fantasy football because I had him on a couple of my squads. I was pleasantly surprised with how well he performed for Atlanta in 2021. This season, many people think that he probably is going to get a little bit phased out of this offense because you do have Damian Williams and rookie out of BYU, Tyler Algier, who many Falcons fans are really excited about. But the main question is going to be, how well is Marcus Mariota going to perform at quarterback this year? Now, he's being reunited with Arthur Smith. Both him and Smith have ties going back to when they were both on Tennessee. So Marcus Mariota has been a backup for the Las Vegas Raiders for the last couple of years. He's finally getting another opportunity to start. And he does have really good mobility. He isn't all that bad. The reason why he kind of fizzled out in Tennessee was the fact that he really couldn't stay healthy. Now, Marcus Mariota doesn't pan out. You do have rookie out of Cincinnati and Desmond Ridder, but Marcus Mariota has already been announced the starter for right now. But the defense, you have concerns when it comes to the pass rush. I don't really think the secondary is all that great. My best case scenario for the Atlanta Falcons this year is 5-12. I mean, outside of defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, you don't really have anybody who is a proven productive pass rusher. At linebacker, you do have Rashaan Evans, Deion Jones. Deion Jones had a down year in 2021. Hopefully he can come back to his former self. Rashaan Evans is solid, but you do have A.J. Terrell in the secondary, who was a top 3 corner last season. He was phenomenal. I think he's going to continue to produce at a really high level. Isaiah Oliver is probably going to end up sliding into nickel along with Casey Hayward on the outside. And even though Casey Hayward is up there in age, he's like 32 years old, he still is pretty decent. But at safety, I'm not really thrilled about Jalen Hawkins, Richie Grant. So for this defense, you have concerns when it comes to your pass rush. Are you going to be able to stop the run? Offensively, are you going to be able to have success with this offensive line? They're probably going to end up experimenting with many different lineups before we get to week 1. So if the offensive line can, at least be decent, they could get the 5 wins. I think that the quarterback play is going to be okay, but overall, I can't really see the Falcons winning no more than 5 games max, simply for the fact that this is an offense that doesn't really have a lot of firepower outside of Kyle Pitts and Drake London. I don't really know how productive the passing game is going to be per se. The run game is going to be really good, simply for the fact that Marcus Mariota is a really good athlete. He's going to do a good amount of damage in the ground game for Atlanta, but I really have concerns about this offense being able to generate big plays. And for this defense, are they going to be able to slow down the run game, and are they going to have success getting pressure on the quarterback? My worst case scenario for the Atlanta Falcons this year is 1-16. This is one of the least most talented teams in the NFL. They don't have a lot of proven talent on either end of the football. On top of that, their offensive line is amongst the worst in the league going into this season. I don't really think it's going to improve all that much. So there's not really a lot of talent here on either side. You do have a couple of key players, but not a lot. So I definitely think that there is a huge chance that Atlanta could only win 1 game this year. And then when you look at their schedule, okay, I think that they have some winnable matchups, but their schedule is amongst the toughest in the NFL. Okay, your first 2 games you're playing against the Saints, the Rams, then you do get to play Seattle on the road, and Seattle also isn't really going to be all that great, so that's a winnable matchup. But then you got to play the Browns. Even without Deshaun Watson, they're going to be a tough matchup simply for how good they are at other positions. The Buccaneers, the 49ers, the Bengals on the road. You got to play Carolina twice. Carolina could be really interesting. You could potentially split with them. You got to play the Chargers, the Bears. It's another winnable matchup. But for Atlanta, their schedule is just incredibly tough. And with the talent that they have on this team, I definitely think there is a possible chance that they could only win 1 game. But my record prediction for Atlanta this year is 2-15. It's just so many concerns. And of course, Atlanta Falcons fans are going to get upset. They're going to say, we're going to be better than 2-15. I don't really know, because did the Atlanta Falcons really just get better? Or are they just kind of the same team that they were last year minus Matt Ryan? Because the wide receiver position isn't really all that fantastic. I am excited about Drake London, and you are going to have Kyle Pitts there, but you need more. Okay, is your defense going to be able to get off the field on 3rd down? Are they going to be able to get consistent pressure on the quarterback? Are they going to be able to have better success against the run this year? Don't really know, and I don't really have a lot of confidence in, because they didn't really do all that much to improve those areas. So I think they could end up competing for the #1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. But you guys let me know your record predictions for the Atlanta Falcons down in the comment section down below.